Ness is a really straightforward guy. He's got an incredibly potent grab game, and he's extremely strong in the air, since his aerials are disjointed, fast, can combo, kill, and even break a combo by trading. Ness actually takes a lot of advantage out of making trades, because at higher percentage, it ends up being in Ness's favor, since he has the most powerful kill throw in the game, especially with rage. He also has the safest and most frustrating edgeguard in the game, and an exceptionally good air dodge that is hard to punish. Jab is mostly used as a fast out-of-shield option to get the opponent off of you. It's sometimes a better out-of-shield option than neutral air because it reaches a little bit further. However, they're both just as fast in terms of framework. Ness, not having all too many ground options, makes Jab one of his better grounded moves. Forward tilt can be used as an out-of-shield option in very few situations. If you angle it down or up, it does 1% more damage. Up tilt is only used as a combo extender on low percentage. This is usually only effective against fast fallers or normal weight characters. Down tilt is Ness's best tilt. It has some different uses as well. It comes out incredibly fast and has a chance to trip the opponent, which can lead to a follow-up. It can also work well up close on an opponent's shield, since it's ungrabbable and will do a decent amount of shield damage. There's even a chance that it might catch the opponent if they try jumping out of shield. And obviously, it can condition the opponent to stay in shield, which can open up for a grab. It's extremely safe, since if they try to punish you, you can always stop the down tilting and shield. Down tilt is also very good at the ledge, since it can cover ledge jump and regular getup, as well as it allows you to react to ledge roll. It could be countered by ledge attack, but then again, Ness might be able to react and punish. If the opponent keeps stalling, it'll catch them out, which you can then try to follow up with a reverse down smash. It basically forces the opponent to choose an option. To get around this move, you basically need to mix it up between ledge roll, ledge attack, or releasing the ledge to punish with an aerial. However, yet again, Ness could technically respond to each option. Dash attack is mainly designed to punish landings. It can also be a decent semi-ranged approach option, since it's fast and disjointed at the front. However, make sure that if you approach with it, to space it correctly so that you take advantage of the last disjointed hitbox. Otherwise, if you're too close to the shield, you'll end up getting punished. Besides, if you're this close to the shield to begin with, you should always be going for a grab instead anyway. Forward smash has the most knockback out of all his smashes, especially when you hit with the sweet spot, which is at the tip of the bat. It also does a hefty amount of damage. Try only using it to punish slow enough moves or after a reset. It scales like crazy with rage, and can net you some very early kills. Forward smash can also be used as a reflector. Up smash is Ness's third and fastest option out of shield. The first hitbox starts behind Ness, where the yo-yo is, and hits at frame 6. The front hitbox comes out at frame 9, and the jump cancel should only take about 1 extra frame. Meanwhile, jab and neutral air out of shield starts at frame 10. Up smash out of shield should be your #1 tool if you're desperately trying to shake off the opponent. It's also much better at very low percentage, since it'll launch them in a much worse spot than the neutral air or jab. The only downside is that it doesn't really have any killing power. It also doesn't deal much damage. Down smash is Ness's most valuable smash attack. The front hit of the down smash is safe on shield as well. It's specifically designed to catch out the 2-frame. It also covers the opponent's ledge options pretty well. The back hit has more knockback and can kill very early, since it launches the opponent very low. Ness' playstyle is centered around his amazing grab and aerials. Throwing out aerials to occupy space can be really good for pressure, conditioning, and baiting. He's also able to do multiple aerials before touching the ground again. Up air is Ness' strongest aerial. When spaced properly, it's safe on shield. This is one of his best moves and does 13% damage. It combos into itself and it's a killing move, which means that up air will start conditioning the opponent to hold shield at high percentage, which allows you to tomahawk grab. Neutral Air is Ness' fastest aerial and his main tool for trading. It does 11% damage for a combo breaker move, which is a lot, with Ness not having all too many good ground options. This is his saving grace. Short hop neutral air out of shield is used to get people off of you, while full hop neutral air out of shield is more often used to punish jumps or as a mix-up. It's also amazing at punishing regular get-ups, since it's safe and it also allows you to cover ledge roll at the same time. Forward air is his main pressure, baiting, and walling move, as well as his primary combo move. It adds some nice shield pressure if you use it defensively. It has a disjointed hitbox, so it's safe, and it also pulls the opponents into it, making it perfect for comboing since you can drag people around during the attack and set them up for other aerials. It can also be used for catching jumping opponents or situational edgeguarding, since you can cover the whole length of your jump with an active hitbox. Back air works a little bit like forward air. It's good for pressure, baiting, and walling. The only difference is that it has some killing power and deals 15% damage. And just like forward air, it's also safe on shield if spaced correctly. Down air is Ness's worst aerial. It's very hard to hit with it, and it only spikes if you sweet spot. And even then, the sweet spot knockback is kind of low, so it barely even spikes. Actually, the best use of down air is by using it as an A cancel. As long as you land before the down air comes out, you'll land completely lagless. PK Flash is for PK Fire can be applied with some cool advanced techniques. There's a grounded PK Fire, which is alright, and then there are some variations to the aerial PK Fire. The first one is doing a full hop while buffering a PK Fire. You can cancel the landing lag by jumping or throwing out an aerial, like neutral air or down air if you want to land completely lagless. If you don't use an aerial, Ness will suffer a bunch of lag. And if you don't buffer the PK Fire out of full hop, you'll also end up having a lot of landing lag. This is referred to as jump PK Fire. If you get hit, you'll get trapped in the fire. However, you can SDI out very easily. Doing an aerial PK Fire is much better than a grounded one, since it'll hit the opponent at the top rather than at the side, making it harder for the opponent to SDI out. Something else you can do with PK Fire is double jumping and use PK Fire at the exact same time. Just do a short hop, double jump, and within one frame use PK Fire. If timed correctly, you'll get momentum forward. This can also be cancelled with an aerial. This one is referred to as PK Fire Jump. If you double jump and press side B too late, you won't get any momentum. I recommend changing one of the shoulder buttons to jump or special so that you can press jump and special at the same time. This can be useful if you predict a certain option that doesn't involve shield, or if you want to punish a certain character for throwing a projectile and close the gap between you and your opponent. However, be careful using this move, because PK Fire has a decent amount of lag, making it punishable most of its time, especially if you don't throw it at max range. If you hit with it off stage, it'll be extremely hard for the opponent to SDI out. Sigh Magnet is an awesome ability. It allows Ness to absorb magic to heal. The more damage it deals, the more you get healed. You can only absorb magical projectiles, however. Just as you start absorbing something, you are also able to cancel the Sigh Magnet to spot dodge, back roll, and jump. It also allows you to stall your momentum as you fall. And you can reverse it to delay your landing while also turning your back for a back air. There's also a wind box at the end of the move. PK Thunder is Ness' most important move. You can hit with either the head, which deals 8% and launch them, or the tail, to only slightly nudge them and deal 1%. So, against poor recoveries, you'll want to hit with the tail instead. The goal with PK Thunder is to simply add enough damage so that your killing moves starts doing their job. Sometimes you can mind game the opponent by playing around with the PK Thunder and confuse them, only to eventually launch yourself and trap them into it. This is referred to as PK Rocket and has intangibility frames from frame 1 to 9. It's Ness' most powerful move and will kill really early. If you have applied shield damage with up air or back air, the PK Rocket will break shields. If you hit them at the left side, it'll send them to the left, and on the right side, it'll send them to the right. PK Thunder is at its strongest when you know how to abuse the tail, and when you know how to combo the head into an aerial and score early kills. Don't get too greedy with this move though, because it does give up your stage presence, which allows the opponent to land on stage and punish you if you miss it. Instead, try mixing it up by also using aerials. When recovering with PK Thunder, the easiest and fastest way to recover is by pressing up B and immediately rotating the analog stick. There are, however, many different angles and ways to recover, and it's important to know some of them, since mixing up your recovery is crucial. If you bounce on a wall from the first PK Rocket, you have about 26 frames to do another PK Thunder and recover again. You can only bounce once, however. If you double jump and press up B at the ledge, it won't snap immediately. However, if you double jump and use Sigh Magnet to stop your momentum close to the ledge, then press up B, Ness will snap onto the ledge immediately. If you hit an opponent or a projectile, the distance will shorten. The PK Thunder is indestructible at the start, and then after a few frames it will disappear after it connects, which means you can jump behind Ness as he recovers to get hit by the PK Thunder and gimp him. Jumping right above him will not do anything. This is why you need to mix up your angles and rotate the PK Thunder to the opposite direction. Sometimes, after 2 up airs at around 30%, you can choose to go for an air dodge read with the tail into PK Rocket. Ness' objective is really simple. Rack up damage with grab combos, neutral air trades, and PK Thunder offstage, until you can back throw the opponent to death, or finish them off with an up air. Ness should be grabbing every single time the opportunity comes. Always prioritize grabbing. And now, since grabbing is the main objective, you also have a bunch of tools to play around the objective. Ness wants to stay in a certain range, where he can safely space and bait by pressuring with forward air, back air, and in some certain situations, even a max-ranged PK fire. Then punish attempted punishes with an aerial, dash attack, PK fire, and most importantly a dash grab. Ness has one of the faster and better dash grabs in the game, making his combo game and killing game even more deadly. At 0 to around 60%, you want to mostly go for a down throw. The opponent can DI away or towards Ness, both of which can be punished with a combo. You should mix up your DI to make it harder for Ness to follow up on you. After the down throw, Ness can choose 2 different combos. You can combo with forward airs to get free damage and launch your opponent off stage, or you can go for a forward air to up air to launch the opponent slightly above you and challenge their options as they try to land. If the opponent is a fast faller or a heavy character, you can sometimes follow up with an up tilt, neutral air, forward air, or a grab. Once the opponent is above 60-70%, you'll want to start pummeling like crazy and using forward throw to launch them off stage and then immediately use PK Thunder. And add pressure with aerials to add as much damage as you can until you can kill with either back throw, up air, or back air, and sometimes even a PK rocket. And that's it really. Now, it may seem a bit simple, but keep in mind that the simplicity of Ness can backfire on Ness himself, since it means that his mix-up game isn't too strong, especially on flat stages. His neutral and approach game becomes very linear. Therefore, it becomes important to work on dash dances, shield dashes, A cancels, and so on, so you become more unpredictable. It also means that strong defensive play and walling Ness out becomes extremely hard for Ness to deal with. Not to mention that he has a slow double jump, which also won't let him snap onto the ledge immediately, making double jumping to the ledge punishable, which means Ness will mostly be forced to recover with PK Thunder, which also can be countered and outplayed in many different ways, making recovering an issue. This is why you have to be creative with your recovery and find new ways to recover every time. This video was made together with S1, who's currently the best Ness in Europe, who uses down air cancel like a boss. And also thanks to FlowKalm for helping me out. Also, for all of you guys who are watching and asking me to make an art of video for a specific character, I hear you, I see you, but just asking for it repeatedly won't help. Instead, please donate at least $1 to my Patreon, and I promise you, with the right amount of support, I will be able to do an art of video for every single character, because these videos take a lot of time and hard work to make. And thanks to you, I'll be able to make this my full-time job. Anyways, thanks for watching, and see you next time.